Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon is a cartoonishly silly action-adventure game filled with Japanese cultural and folklore references. Released in 1997 in Japan and 1998 in the United States, it blends platforming, narrative, towns, and minigames, letting you chat with locals one minute and jump into dungeons the next. It's part of a long-running series called Ganbare Goemon, which translates to Good Luck Goemon in English. It began as an arcade title called Mr. Goemon, but the series really came into its own on the Famicom with Ganbare Goemon, Karakuri Douchu, known for its top-down, non-linear exploration. This N64 entry was the first to bring Goemon into 3D, making it a notable early experiment in 3D action-adventure at a time when the genre was still evolving. The game is full of cultural flavor. For example, Ishikawa Goemon was a real bandit whose mythologized life appeared often in Japanese art and theater. Towns are built with traditional Japanese architecture, like restaurants with tatami floor seating. The humor and art direction mix absurdity with cultural depth. It's got zany characters contrasted with deeply Japanese settings. It'd be fascinating to hear how native Japanese players interpret the series, especially since so much of the humor and setting is rooted in cultural parody. But its long legacy implies it hit home with domestic audiences. The game's goofy tone is established early. Right from the get-go, the Peach Mountain Shoguns come flying into Japan in a giant UFO and turn Edo Castle into a westernized European castle. Their goal? To transform Japan into one big stage for their ego-driven performances. The leaders of this organization have the names Spring Breeze Dancin' and Kitty Lily, and they even have a musical duet before the penultimate battle of the game. Ibisumaru, Goemon's sidekick, dances partially nude in a restaurant to try to get a discount, and then proclaims, "They don't understand the beauty in me." There's a barely clothed man that wears a mask that reads your fortune. He's called the Plasma Man, because after every reading, he always says, "Plasma!" Plasma. Nearly every character has a surreal or ridiculous line. That over-the-top humor adds to the game's charm. At one point, a villager jokes about becoming an EU citizen if they were hit by the same laser beam that turned Edo Castle into a European-style castle. Totally absurd, but in a lovable way. Conversely, one townsperson is quite displeased with the recent UFO commotion, saying, "I don't know if you saw a UFO or a bird, but it's nothing to make a fuss over. Heck." I love lines like this. Totally bizarre, but somehow endearing. Goemon fights with a traditional smoking pipe called a kiseru, which later gets a chain extension for longer reach and grappling. He also has medals that he can throw, and if you hold down the B button, you can charge this attack and throw a medal of flame. Throughout the game, you'll be jumping, fighting, solving light puzzles, and using grappling mechanics across dungeons and open areas. Eventually, you'll be able to switch between Goemon and 3 other characters. There's your companion right from the beginning of the adventure, Ibisumaru. He wields a hammer and later gets the ability to shrink himself to fit into small areas. He also has a meat saw hammer that will cause a defeated enemy to drop a healing dumpling. And he has a camera that lets him freeze ghosts and show hidden objects. There's also a female ninja named Yai. She wields a katana and later transforms into a mermaid, which opens up the water dungeon segments. She also has a shielding move where she twirls her katana around if the player holds down the B button. Oh, and she gets a bazooka. I barely used it because it was hard to aim. Turns out if you hold down the B button, you can toggle the lock-on function though. Whoops, I guess reading the manual would have helped. Finally, there's her flute, which calls the dragon Koryuta, who will give her a ride to any previously visited location. Then there's a mechanical doll named Sasuke who's reminiscent of Gino from Super Mario RPG. He attacks by slashing with 2 kunai, but eventually gets the ability to throw ice kunai, which freezes the enemy. You can charge this move to throw more kunai in a fanning pattern as well. He can also throw bombs that can destroy cracked doors, and he has a hair attack that can hit anything directly above him if you hold down the B button and press Z. Or he can hit low with his hair if crouching. Finally, near the end of the game, you'll gain the ability to rocket jump to areas higher and further away than what was previously possible. There's also a crouch move, but to me it feels like a tacked-on addition, since nothing in the game requires it. But it still has value because it looks comically ridiculous. Goemon belly crawls and Ubisumaru back scoots. Yae and Sasuke, on the other hand, just do normal people crawls. Overall, the variety in movement and powers makes exploration rewarding. Sometimes you stumble into areas and only realize later, oh, I was supposed to be here. That kind of non-linear design adds to the feeling of being in a living world, rather than just going from one discrete level to the next. Towns are explorable and interconnected, with NPCs to talk to, shops, and secrets to discover. One really unexpected discovery is that pressing A, B, and all the C buttons spawns secret NPCs. I learned this thanks to the Goemon International YouTube channel, a great resource for obscure details like that. It feels more like a light RPG than a linear platformer. There's no shortage of people to talk to, no matter which of the towns you happen to be in. Just like in most RPGs, there are a few staple places to spend your money. You can save your game and rest at inns. Equipment shops sell pieces of armor that absorb a set amount of hits before breaking, which adds a nice strategic layer. Some restaurants will heal you on the spot, while others sell sushi that revives you once if you run out of hearts. Definitely a helpful item to have on hand. The soundtrack is a big standout. It combines traditional Japanese instruments, memorable melodies, and just upbeat tracks that make gameplay zones more immersive. Years from now, you're likely to remember the music just as much as the dungeons or platforming. Standout tracks for me are Tosa, Sogen Town, and Kompira Mountain. Another great thing about this game is that there are several moments where Goemon jumps into a giant robot named Impact. Even though his face looks frozen in a permanent happy expression, mouth wide open, Impact's got a personality of his own, complete with a film career in America. Each fight kicks off with a fully choreographed musical number introducing Impact, complete with vocals. If these sequences don't win you over on Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon, nothing will. They are glorious. Or should I say, gorgeous! After the song, you're thrown into a roller skating sequence where you dodge and destroy objects to gather oil, which is your HP in the fight ahead. These sections look easy, but are deceptively tricky. Here's why. Impact's jump has a wind-up, so it needs to be timed properly when jumping over obstacles or ditches. There will be hordes of enemies and buildings in your way that you'll have to smash through in order to avoid taking damage. Technically, most things are destructible, but good luck hitting everything in time. Between the wind-up on Impact's jump and the rhythm of your swings, you'll take damage if your timing's off. Jumping wrong or getting tripped up in any other way means getting less oil, which you'll really need in the coming fight. After the roller skating intro section, the real showdown begins. A one-on-one fight from a first-person view inside Impact's cockpit. During these fights, you will need to keep an eye on several HUD elements. There's a radar in the bottom center that shows where the enemy is in relation to you. Your oil gauge, which is basically your HP, is in the lower right. Your ammo, measured in Ryo coins, is in the lower left. And at the top of the screen, you'll see the boss's HP. Staying on top of these numbers is key. Keep your HP up, don't run out of ammo, and watch to make sure you're actually making a dent in the boss's health. Projectiles are great for delivering steady chip damage, but the real progress comes from landing well-timed combos. You fire Ryo coins as projectiles, and aiming is done manually using the analog stick to line up your shots and follow the enemy's movements. You can even shoot down enemy projectiles with your own, or take the riskier option, time a melee attack just right to destroy them, which rewards you with extra ammo in the process. Every boss has a big attack where they'll either charge at you or teleport right in front of you to deal heavy damage. This is your window of opportunity to parry and counter with a melee combo of your own. You also have a chain pipe move that lets you hook and reel the enemy in to do some melee damage. Which, to be honest, I didn't know that move even existed during my playthrough. Kind of a missed opportunity, but hey, you live and learn. These fights can feel overwhelming at first. The game doesn't really teach you special moves either, so it's easy to miss some of the coolest attacks, like the laser or the million punch move. And your first real opponent, Kashiwagi? That guy is not messing around. If you don't figure things out quickly, you'll be looking at a game over screen in no time. There's a good chance you will get the hang of it though. Just don't feel bad if you don't. I didn't. I game overed once. Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon is a joyful, bizarre action-adventure game full of charm. From the main cast to the side characters and villains, everyone's got their own weird, wonderful personality. They're just goofy as heck. The gameplay holds up surprisingly well despite some classic early 3D quirks. And there's plenty here for collectors and completionists too. Scattered throughout the world are silver fortune dolls, or Maneki Neko, which function like heart pieces in Zelda. Collect 4 to gain an extra heart. There are also 5 golden ones that grant a full heart increase instantly. The soundtrack? It slaps. It's catchy, it's got character, it feels right at home with the rest of the game's offbeat tone. You'll be humming these tracks for days. Who's this game for? If you're into action platformers, enjoy quirky retro games, or have even a passing interest in Japanese culture, this is one to check out. If you're trying it for the first time, my advice? Be patient with the camera, and try to at least make it to the first impact fight. Once you see how all the main elements click together, story, characters, combat, music, you'll probably know whether it's for you. Personally, I really enjoyed my time with it. The absurd comedy, killer soundtrack, and varied gameplay all held up decades after release. So yeah, it gets my recommendation, caveats and all. But what about you? Have you played Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon? Got any favorite moments, or a different Goemon game you want to recommend? Leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear your picks. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.